Before looking at the definition for design thinking, let's see how IDEO, one of the design companies, implemented design thinking into their industrial design and product design. So one of the person, Tim Brown, he came up with this diagram: desirability, viability, and feasibility. So he says that the sweet spot for the innovation is the intersection of these three. So that's where design thinking lies. Every user have some kind of expectations from the product, right? So the company who is providing the service, like say a mobile app or an website, so do they have the intended features what users expect? So that's the desirable part. And viability is nothing but the company over invests money to build a product, say a mobile app or a website, can will it be sustainable and will they get returns out of it? So that is the viability part. And feasibility part is nothing but the technical constraints. So we have an idea, but do we need to build it? Before starting to build it, we should see the technical aspects of building that product. So that is feasibility part. And there are 5 steps in design thinking: empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and test. Let's see this in detail in next slide. Design thinking, with empathizing with users in optimistic and creative way to find solution for their problems and needs. And design thinking is an empathetic, optimistic, and creative way of working to shape the future. And how is the mindset of a design thinking person? The person should be free of prejudice, like if he has any preconceived opinion idea, that should be taken away, and free of expectation. What will happen if we come up with this idea, or come up with this problem statement? This is what we're doing. So you shouldn't try to expect more. What if it fails? So that expectation should be there. And filled with curiosity. So you should understand the facts and problems in depth, and open to a world of possibilities. Try to fail early in the process, and learn from it, and ask simple and important questions for the problems to find solutions. So this is basically the mindset of a design thinking person. So you can just buy this book, Design Thinking Playbook. And the authors Michael Leverick, Larry Leifer, and Patrick Link. They've written 3 books. One is the Design Thinking Playbook, and Design Thinking Toolbook, and Design Thinking Life Book. It's very good book. I mean, I just thought on that. So if you want, you can purchase that. So let's see the steps. So in the earlier slide, I showed you the emphasis phase. So in the emphasis phase has been separated into 2 entities, like understand and observe, and then define point of view, ideate, prototype, test, and implement and reflect. So generally, what happens here in the understand phase, we should try to understand the common problem the user faces. So that's we start with the problem. Actually, we should understand the problems. So we should ask the clients, what problem are you trying to solve with your product? If you're going to create a mobile app or a web app, what problem are you trying to solve? What services you're going to give? So these challenge. What are the challenges? So that's what you should ask. We should ask. Sorry, we should ask the client. At the initial stage, you should start with why. Like if you want to expand more on the understanding, you can start with why. Say I need to take care of my health. That is a problem statement. Uh, why? Because I'm old, because I'm obese, because I need to play with my kids, because I need to take care of my family. So these are the way where you can expand the understanding. And how do you take care of your health? Going to doctor, sleeping regularly, having a proper diet. All this comes under the how. So that's how the understanding you can expand it with why, or you can narrow down with how. So that is understanding part. And then we can move on to the observe part. Observe part is where you observe the users in the real environment, trying to observe in the current contextual environment. Like if user is performing a task within an office environment, that is his environment. So go there and observe, and try to understand the user and create persona. What is his behavior? What is his attitude? What does he say and what does he do? and how does he perform that, and what are the goals he wants to achieve. So all this can be seen in this can be done in this observe phase. So that's how it does. And the next phase is defining in the point of view. In the POV, the point of view is nothing but the user, the needs, and the insights. So you separate that into three sections and try to come up with the problem statements. So here, when we start, you have to diverge with a lot of why, how questions, when, what. So with all these questions, and then you have to move on with all the problems. You understand the problem, you observe the user, you understand the user, and then you have to then you have to converge actually. Converge meaning you have to select one of some of the problem statements, and that matches with the business user, and then create the finally create come up with all the POVs, frame problem statement. Using the defining the using point of view. So that's how you converge, and then you move on to the solution space. So solution space is where you ideate that you get into a brainstorming session, sketch the ideas, and try to talk with your counterparts, show the ideas to the present the ideas to the stakeholders. So that's how that's how you generate ideas, right? You generate a lot of ideas. Or if you're alone, if you're a single person, you are the UX designer, you should come up with more ideas, alternative ideas, and main core idea, and show it to the present to the stakeholders. And then you have to prototype, like an interactive prototype that you can do with it's a low fidelity prototype. You can do it with Figma or Adobe XD, InVision, and create a prototype, and then test your ideas. So this actually, if you see, this it's more of a cycle actually. You ideate, prototype, test. You ideate, prototype, test. So that's how it does happen. That's how it happens. And in case if you test it and you're not getting the desired result, you again go to the understand phase, observe phase, define the problem statement again, and maybe again you create your go to the ideation part, brainstorm the ideas, and prototype and test. So it's adaptable. Generally, the design thinking process is adaptable and flexible. So no process is static. The process should be, if you want to innovate, it should be adaptable and flexible. So the design thinking process is used for problem finding and also for problem solving. So it's a creative way of doing that. So that's why people are trying to adopt design thinking as their process. And the final thing is implement and reflect, where you implement the ideas that is concrete and in a live version, and then you test it with the real time users, and then you reflect on it whether you get a good feedback, or you go and do a survey, a quantitative survey, or check for the SUS system usability score. In the next slide, we'll see the tools and methods used in design thinking process. Thank you.